Thank you for watching News Echoes from Schengen Media. My name is Shegun Johnson. I'm so glad you are watching. Today we have so many things lined up that we want to discuss what has happened in the last 7 days in this globe called planet Earth. And with me in the studio, I have a man from the central part of London, Nat Yakwo. Ambassador Nat, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you very much.
And also all the way from Milan in Italy, we have our man there, Mark Godwin. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shegun. Welcome to another beautiful morning.
In the last few days, we have seen so many bombings in the United Kingdom, in Uganda, and they are all related to a particular terrorist idea, which we want to, first of all, try to find sense out of it. Here in the United Kingdom, a man took a cab and wanted to detonate at a place where they were having poppy rallies, or like we call it here, Remembrance Day. But something went horribly wrong with him, and it never materialized. He detonated himself and killed himself in front of an hospital. But I wish we see that video where the cab was burning and people were running helter skelter.
Drop the ego, open the campsite, the boys, the guys, Joe the journal coming up in 10 minutes time. It's time for Joe versus that man. It is that stat of 6:30 to wake up your brain, and you can win a Lee Butler CD if you can nail Joe the Statman this morning.
Thank you very much. Well, we are in a dilemma because this man converted to be from Islam to Christianity. Well, we call this a Christian terrorism. Ambassador Nat, get us into this story.
Well, the past 1 week or so, as you have said, the British government raised the alert level of insecurity in the nation, and so there have been some level of consciousness generated as to the security of the land. The asylum seeker, who is saying because he wasn't given asylum, he will kill everybody. And he's also saying the church is now being blamed also for providing some ground for this man. But in my personal view and opinion, I think we are not too sure that man really had accepted Jesus Christ as Lord and personal Savior, or he was just using the church as a cover to get asylum and then become really the terrorist which he is, or which he was. So the situation is very fluid, and now the church has to sit up, even when when the church wants to open her doors to people in need, because we have so many of them, not only from the Middle East. Even we still have these challenges from people coming from Afghanistan and some other Arab countries. So this is the situation we find ourselves. We have terrorists also.
What country did he come from before getting into the United Kingdom?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the country.
And they said he was adopted by a church. Salawin was his name, wasn't he? And I'm trying to get his name out so that well, let's see how they got this news in Italy. Mark, how did you get this man's news in Italy?
Yes, Dr. Shegun, thank you very much. It's a very sad one. we followed it up, and we're also looking at David Perry, the cab driver that pulled out that very heroic move. He made sure the guy was locked behind, and he ran out before the thing exploded on him too. So the explosion actually had some effect on him. He had small bruises. But what we also had is he diverted that whole plan. The plan was to ram into the hospital and blow up the whole place. So David Perry, as the news has been saying, is a hero. And the man we're talking about is, yes, as an asylum seeker. We're still to know where exactly he's coming from. But I think he's Syria. I think so. He's imagine being a part of a church, and the church took him in, gave him all the love and all the support, and now he has done this. He has done this to himself. So the car blast is a serious one. Like Ambassador Nat said, the UK government have raised the alert level of UK. So you guys will probably be walking, looking around, police everywhere, and security everywhere. So Christmas will be a little of cautious movement, you know, because when it's like this, obviously we don't know who is connected to this and what could happen again. Thank you. Yes,
thank you. Ahmad Al-Swelmin was his name, and he was 32, and he took the taxi from a nearby address he had rented, and the police have picked up a few people, and so we just see that you don't rest. I mean, the government mustn't rest. Acts of terrorism. But will you think this is a kind of depression? Could you have been saying the truth? Was it depressed, or was it just lying that he has become a Christian, or he was refused asylum and therefore he could just react? Could this be a sign of depression? Not quickly.
No, I think what we want to hold on to is the issue of asylum rejected. So every other thing we follow, and this he is not responsible for the challenges he went through. It is the society that is responsible. So these are the things. Yeah, these are the things we should strictly, or the government should look into. When an individual has come up and this is the way maybe his thoughts or or what he's saying, is it really true or he's double speaking?
All right. Well, as if that was not enough, in faraway Uganda, some people also burned the Kampala, the capital of Uganda. And I've been to Uganda a few times, and the area they went to bomb was an area I used to go to, because when you visit Kampala, you see the town as a jolly town, especially during lunchtime. I'm talking of the city center of Kampala. And you see people from all over the world mixed and enjoying good lunch, every tourist mingling with businessmen, and to go and detonate there. What do we know about this detonation?
And you have police here. And they had. And this is terrible. Now you want the police to do what? You can remove with the 5 3 meters. Can't the police come here with the police? What are you talking? I've been here for almost 20 minutes.
Thank you very much. Ambassador, now, what do we know about this bombing again? Is it terrorism again?
Yeah, you know that the Horn of Africa, that East Africa region, starting from the northern axis, Somalia, coming to Kenya, coming to Uganda. The terrorists have been operating in that place for quite some time now. And
Correct,
you remember also the Ugandan resistance army, who have been more of a terrorist group, and though they were being told that these explosions could be the handwork of opposition parties, but I don't think. Well, that's my thinking. It's more of terrorists coming into Uganda. Though this might not be the first time and it might not be the last, but this is the work of the terrorist group, maybe splinter groups of this Al-Shabaab group.
From Somalia.
Yes, from Somalia. I know they
but
easily.
You know, the Ugandan president wanted to contest election and suddenly discovered that he could not meet up with the constitution because of his age. In the Uganda constitution, once you are 74, you can no longer contest. But suddenly, the Archbishop of Uganda discovered that his birth certificate was wrongly written. And so they had to adjust according to when he was actually born. So in the ceremony, he was rewritten a new birth certificate and a new, so that his age was lowered. And so Museveni could contest again. And this is a man who has been ruling for up to 30 years. But Mark, how do you copy what happened in Uganda?
Yes, very serious one. Uganda capital Kampala went through what the Europeans normally go through with terrorists. The information is it's 6 people in all, but the 3 is part of the people that donated the bomb. 3 people were killed, 33 others were wounded in a twin suicide bombing in the capital city, Kampala. And that was yesterday morning. The police are also saying that there are some terrorist group behind it. The explosion happened close to a building that housed an insurance company, and bodies of workers in that building were all scattered. Glasses were all splintered all over. We are seeing reactions from, like Ambassador Nat said, the eastern side of Africa has a strong terrorist arrangement, and we are doing little to it. The world's governance is doing very little to attend to that situation there, and it's brewing every day. The explosion has put a lot of panic now in Uganda. The exchange rate point where it happened, officers, workers there are not going to work. They said nobody's coming close again out of fear. And it's a terrible one. Now 3 people gone and 33 people injured. The ISIS of that side, an affiliate of the allied Ugandan allied force. I think Ambassador Nat was talking about that. Yes, they even claimed to be to be behind the attack. The ISIL something, forgetting their abbreviation. So all these are just militants and people, organizations that are considered A1 in the terrorist group, and they should be something should be done. President Museveni doesn't seem to have a strong arrangement on these forces. He doesn't seem to know what to do. And remember that also he had a failed assassination attempt some months ago. So a lot of things are going wrong. Like you said, it could be an opposition party. We're not sure now, but IS said they are behind it. So anybody can claim to that thing, you know. But a strong investigation should be done. America, Assistant Secretary of State said they are going to look into it. That's PJ Crowley. And we're still watching. Let's see what happens there.
The bottom line is that it's not only in Nigeria that we have insecurity, there's insecurity all over the world.
Insecurity all over the world, Dr. Shago.
I mean, if it happened in the United Kingdom, France is a fragile state. It could also happen it's happening in Nigeria on a daily basis. But I think it's the response to it that is important now. I mean, what is the level of response? I think that is the kind of thing that we should be talking now, not that is a shocking news anymore.
Yes, for Uganda, the response is low. Uganda has always been a target for terrorist group because it's it's a tourist center. You were saying that earlier. So targeting Uganda could affect some tourists and some other country national. So, but they have very low arrangement to counter terrorism. The president
is that just like Nigeria?
Exactly, just like
I mean, between a scale of 0 to 10, where will you put Uganda?
0 to 10, I'll put Uganda in
terms of response to insecurity.
In fact, it's just 1.
Where will you put Nigeria between 0 and 10?
The same thing. No, in terms of security. I mean, they succeed every day in Nigeria. So it's not. In fact, we're not on the scale even. Every day.
let me ask Ambassador Nat. Yes. Ambassador Nat, I think we have resolved that terrorism could happen in any country, no matter how strong that country thinks, even including the United States. But we are now talking about government responses to such insecurity. And any sensible government by now should know that there could be attack any moment for whatever reason the terrorists have done. Now, in your own analysis, where will you put Nigeria between 0 and 10? 0, lack of response, 10, the best response. Where is Nigeria?
Maybe I'll be more generous than Mark. It looks like two will be fine. 2 over 10.
2 will be fine. Yeah, I think Mark was giving 1, Uganda 1, Nigeria 1. Am I right, Mark? Is
it? Ambassador Nat, 2. I mean, they came into the barracks. They came into the defense academy, and
you are giving them 2.
And you are giving them 2. I mean, these people brought it to their own domain, to their own turf, their playground, and said, "Listen, let's show you that."
And nothing concrete has been done. Yeah.
Can you imagine that, Ambassador? You are giving 2. 2.
In the case of Nigeria,
do you want to reassess and re-award marks?
If we put Uganda and Nigeria side by side, I think Nigeria is a little bit 1 point. The difference is 1 point. 1 over 10, 2 over 10. The difference really isn't much. The case of Uganda, historically, say after Idi Amin took over that country, the country had really not recovered.
No, they've not received peace. I agree with that.
The military come in and go out, and when you see Museveni, and that bishop who was ready to.
He grew younger. He forgot his date of birth, or rather, they wrote a wrong date of birth. So all of a sudden,
Yeah,
The
it's very scandalous, it's shameful and disgraceful. Because you want to remain in power, you go
oh
to
my
that
word.
extent.
Mm.
You go to that extent. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah,
And the,
we're getting a reaction all the way from Lagos for Yetunde Johnson, Merima Johnson, and she's saying, "Good day, all. Thank you guys for the good work you are doing for showcasing the happenings around the world, especially in Nigeria. The policies and politics are of great importance to make it known to all. Thank you very much. Let's uh, the reactions continue coming in. We understood that they had started coming in even before we started the show. But Ambassador, we got to move on to what is happening in the Buckingham Palace. The Queen is frail. The Queen sprayed her bags. The Queen can no longer walk. What shall we do to the Queen of Elizabeth Regina? Tell us more. What's going on?
well, you know that since the COVID-19 really had a knock on the UK, the Queen was afraid of, or she's afraid of catching coronavirus, and she's like abandoned Buckingham Palace and moved to Windsor Castle, which is a little bit far away from London. But what really happened? I think she is also still having uh, an impact on her late husband, having stayed with somebody for 70 years plus, and the person is no longer around. A part of your body is gone, part of your body is dead. And so at her age, also, is she 95?
95
This
and she's still working. Why can't she stop working at 95? Why can't she give it to Prince Charles? Everybody loves her. She has done a bit. I mean, at 95, you've been working to be I think she's been there for ages. She's the longest serving mm, queen or king in England. Why can't she just abdicate and give it to her own son?
Well, I think she has those answers to those questions very, very close to her heart, and she and because she knows best what is going on.
Okay,
Although
okay.
she has scaled down on her duties. Charles is performing some of her official function.
Especially the Remembrance Day she has never missed.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. We were told that she sprained her back just last week. She sprained her. How do people sprain their back? Is it on their bed or when they fall down? I am suspecting that she fell, and she fell because she is frail. I mean, she's 95, and we were just told she sprained her back. She should have been at COP26 in Glasgow. She wasn't there. I mean, we wish her well. We want her well, but she should just retire. That's what we're saying. But let's see how they copy from Europe. Mark, how do you see our Queen, Queen Elizabeth, in Europe? Do you think she still has more to give to the world? This woman has worked tirelessly for the better part of a century. What do you think? What's the thinking in Europe?
Yes, Dr. Shagun, you used the word she has done her bit. We want to say she has done her best.
Mm.
Yes, the bit is too little. The Queen has really done a lot. The Queen of England missed out on the Remembrance Sunday service last Sunday, and we got it that something is happening. The news is that she sprained her back. Doctors said she sprained her back, and we know that that remembrance service is one of the most important service she does to the nation. But she's 95, like you said, and she's really getting old. Yes, Her Majesty.
Should we start thinking? Let us hail King Charles. Should we be thinking of King Charles?
Let's begin to think like so, because missing out also on the United Nations Climate Summit in Glasgow is something that these are signs, because she never misses this kind of thing. These are world events that the world wants to also hear from the Queen of England. And now, like Ambassador Nat said, she's been relegated to another corner. So the doctors are going back and forth. The doctors have told her to rest for
3 months. Yeah.
Yes, they said 3 months. Yes, and take very light duty, maybe just little things in the house. So we're watching, but we think the Queen has done her best and should now give way to the other man, to the son.
Ambassador Nat, we have a problem here. The Queen in England is the defender of the faith, which means the defender of Christianity. King Charles said he will be the defender of the faith, all faith, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, and he said that he will defend all the faiths. But when you look at the history of the United Kingdom, the king or the queen has been the defender of the faith. And you remember King James Version of the Bible, how he had to write, he had to ask them to interpret the Bible into a new readable English in the 17th century. So now, how do we go? How are we going to reconcile that one? So it's free for all now in England. If our mommy should go, the way Nigerians will put it.
Well, I think when Prince Charles made that statement some years ago, I think he was trying to be politically correct and maybe flippant in words coming out of his mouth. So saying is one thing, doing is another. If by the grace of God eventually he becomes a king, that is where the press or the society will pick him up. They will ask that question again. What do you mean by being a defender of faiths?
Yeah, because according to the Anglican religion, the communion, the king is the head of the church. So if the head of the church is also the head of Islam in England, then we are looking at conflicts. Nothing wrong with all the religions staying in England. That's not the issue. The issue is that how can you be the head of the church and also be head of other religions in the country? I don't know. I can't reconcile.
Well, it's also I see it also as a constitutional crisis, unless the parliament is ready to redo the unwritten constitution of the UK. Charles cannot claim to be king and then claim to be defender of the faiths.
Okay, before they call us religious bigots, let's just go on a short break. And when we return, we want to look at the NSAS report. The NSAS report has been presented to the governor of Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu. We want to have a look at the reactions of the people. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle. Inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment. A better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story magazine. Get Schengen Story magazine full editions.
welcome back to News Echoes of SSM. That's Schengen Media. Now, we have this report with us. October 2020, there was a protest of the young people in Nigeria against the excessive activities of the Nigerian police. They're usually called SARS, and they reacted against the SARS, the youth, and the government released the army and they shot at the crowd, and people called it a massacre. And the federal government said there was no massacre because there were no bodies. We used blank bullets. The government set up NSA's committee to look into it, a judicial panel to look into it. They came out with a report, and since then, there have been various people trying to react to this report. But let's first of all see when this report was presented to
Panel of
Governor
Inquiry on
Babajide
Restitution for
Sanwo-Olu.
Victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters have described the incident at Lekki Tollgate on the 20th of October 2020 as a massacre. This was contained in the full report on their findings and recommendations to Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
I'm indeed happy and excited that today, the 15th of November 2021, the panel has, as we've seen, submitted two sets of reports, one being a consolidated report on general police brutality cases, which is by the panel, and another report specific on the report of the Lekki incident investigation of 20th October 2020. I'm going to constitute a four-man committee very immediately, which will be led and headed by the Honorable Attorney General, the Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, the Special Advisor Works, and the Permanent Secretary, the Cabinet Office. The four of them will very, very quickly look through and bring forward a white paper within the next 2 weeks that will be considered at the Lagos State Executive Council and will be gazetted as a white paper coming from the panel of inquiry.
The panel found that the Nigerian police force deployed its officers to the Lekki Tollgate on the night of the 20th October 2020, and between that night and the morning of the 21st of October 2020, its officers shot at, assaulted and battered unarmed protesters, which led to injuries and deaths. The police officers also tried to cover up their actions by picking up bullets. The panel also found out that LCC hampered the panel's investigation by refusing to turn over some useful and vital information and evidence as requested by the panel and the forensic expert engaged by the panel, even where such information and evidence was, by the company's admission, available. It manipulated the incomplete CCTV. As regards the next steps, the governor will wait on the feedback from the four-man panel headed by the Attorney General Moyoshore Onibanje, son, to consider the recommendations given the Lagos Judicial Panel within the next 2 weeks.
Well, that is it. That was Governor Sanwo-Olu receiving the two reports, and we are awaiting the white paper. That is normal in government administration. They will ask a panel of senior members of the cabinet to look into the report and give the recommendation that the government should now act upon. Before we look into the next reaction, Ambassador Nat, what are your immediate thoughts concerning everything that happened?
My immediate thoughts are sadness, disappointment, embarrassment, and the scandalous way the governor of Lagos State, I don't know whether I heard him say he was happy and excited to receive the report. I thought this we are still mourning. This is a sad note on the governorship of Lagos State. The governor of Lagos State has some explanation to do. And as much as I also admire the courage of Justice Doris Okodo's panel report, I think we should give them some credit for the courage they had to carry out their assignment. And I think to a very large degree they were very objective and rational, and they have submitted a report. So that is the first instance. And then the government is still saying, the government through its agent is still saying that nothing happened at the toll gate on the 20th of October 2020, because that's what the government is still saying. The chief of defense staff is coming to say nobody should disparage the military. The panel report is not the correct one. It's not fair, and so these are the issues we are going to face, and we know that the NSAS panel made 32 recommendations, and it was an indictment on the Nigerian police, Nigerian army, the Lekki concession commission, and
what do you think should be done to that Lekki commission? Those who doctored the tape, should they just get away with it?
No, I'm coming today. I think heads should roll in the military, in the police, and the LCC, that Lekki concession. The Minister of Information, Mr. Lai Mohammed. I think the federal government should be ashamed of itself. In very decent societies, the government should resign. The Lagos State government should resign. The President of Nigeria should resign. Minister of Information should resign. Minister of Works, Raji Fashola, Transport, should resign. And the public apologies, as the committee recommended, compensation for those who lost their loved ones.
Let me just show you that they are not ready to apologize the way you are thinking. I'm going to ask the studio to show us the reaction of the Nigerian army. It's like they have no sense of remorse in any form.
You must have seen that there's a report that was released through, in my view, a wrong channel that is making the rounds in the social media. Whether it's a true report, I can't tell. But I'd like to indicate that the normal procedure is to have such a report submitted to the convening authority, and then there will be a white paper that will be presented based on which one can make informed comments. But whatever it is currently, I'd like to indicate that the armed forces of Nigeria is a professional armed forces. We are pupilled by Nigerians and we remain committed to constitutional mandates. We do not at this point think that Nigerians should make disparaging remarks regarding the armed forces of Nigeria, in the sense that we are a professional armed forces. If there are issues, of course, we address them within the ambit of the provisions. It should not be right to disparage, men and women who have worked so hard to ensure that the territorial integrity of this nation is kept intact. So in the meantime, until I see the full extent of the report, I may not be able to. But I can assure you that the armed forces of Nigeria are disciplined, we're all disciplined, and we do not engage in any ignoble acts. If Nigerians don't trust us, then we wouldn't have been doing what we're doing. And in any case, it's the armed forces of Nigeria. And remember, we're not talking about the police, we're talking about the armed forces, with emphasis, armed forces. So when the armed forces are called out, it is because there's a need for the armed forces. Everyone, there's no one who does not require and desire to live in peace. And so we need to understand that the armed forces are there to keep the peace, to provide the ambience that will enable each and every Nigerian to live up to his desires in peace and harmony. So
Okay, thank you,
let us
studio.
not make inciting
Thank you,
comments
studio.
that
So, Mark, the
will
armed forces, they are called to use their armed weapons against children who have no ammunition at all. This is what Lucky Irabo, or what does he call his name? I think it should be
Yeah.
Unlucky Irabo. That's what he's telling us, that they called the armed forces to go and fight people without ammunition, and is so happy to say we were called to use our armed forces against peaceful protesters. Or how do you copy that?
Doc, every day they put more embarrassment and shame on themselves. An inquiry panel has submitted a report. Nigerians have seen that now see what has happened, but the armed force is denying it, and it is the same Nigerian armed force that killed, shot at innocent protesters. Tens of thousands of Nigerians took to the street last October. This was last year, October, calling for an end to the special anti-robbery squad called SAS to be disbanded because of their very, very nefarious activities. The report came out, and we've had this. Now, that report identified 48 casualties after the army, the same armed force that this man represents, opened fire on the demonstrators. Nigerian army is denying all this because Nigerian army is not a credible armed force. The NSAS protest rocked the country. The NSAS protest killed people, and the NSAS protest made homes, families suffer. Some families are still suffering up till now. And yet this man, Chief of Defense Staff, is saying this. Well, we are following what we've seen. It has been open to the press domain, the papers, and we have seen everything. The Lagos State Governor, Sanwo-Olu, set up that panel, and he promised a proper response to what the panel has found out. The process will also help us to be able to know what to go. There should be a reconciliation. There should be a restitution. There should be bringing together of those affected in this whole thing. Our man, the Chief of Defense Staff, denying it does not bring any succor. It does not bring any solution. He has to own to it. It's clear. It's open. Lives were lost. People were maimed. Families were destroyed, and Nigeria needs to face that reality. These children can't be protesting innocently and be killed for doing that.
Thank you. Ambassador Nat, when this thing happened, we could not get who invited the army. We tried to locate who Governor Sanwo-Olu said, I did not invite the army. Who invited the army? We will never know. But according to the Chief of Defense Staff, lucky or unlucky, the way he's speaking, this unlucky man, when some people are dead and he's talking with such a cocky mind, I mean, what is he trying to say? Who invited them to come and face with their weapons? Who invited them? And then we couldn't get that one. We couldn't get Tinubu at that time. Tinubu was locked up in one hotel in France. Later, he said he was in Nigeria. All the leaders we knew were denying they did not invite the army. The army came and said they used blank shots. I mean, tell us more about all the deniers and the lies. We have one commentary here. It says, okay, I'll read the commentary later. Go ahead. Just 1 minute. This commentary says...
Okay, thank you. Again, we'll go back to start with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who kept denying and denying. He knew the truth, but he chose to tell us something else, as Lucky Orabo is doing. You know, the report, the panel's report says initially the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, approached the GOC, GOC General Officer commanding Lagos area. The man said he's not in a position, and the Sanwo-Olu called Chief of Army Staff in Abuja. They were in a meeting or so, but eventually the truth is being told that there was an invitation. The governor of Lagos had invited. He got permission eventually, and the soldiers came in.
So it originated from Sanwo-Olu?
Yes. And
okay, the army came and they said they used blank bullets, so they lied.
So they lied. The forensic expert who deals with this ammunition and other things said they were live bullets. Some blank ones were used, but the live ammunition were used.
And the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, came in and said there were no dead bodies, so there were no killings.
Yeah, his word, he says, killed.
Sorry, say that again.
And it means the means of information said there was no massacre because no one person was killed. To his understanding, massacre means millions of people being killed, but that's not the definition of massacre we know of.
What did the panel say concerning massacre? This panel, what did they say concerning the word massacre?
No, the panel said the word massacre is massacre. People are killed.
The panel said that the word massacre is rightly used on this occasion. 10 people were dead, 10 people were killed, according to their report, with their names. And according to Lai Mohammed, there were no names, there were no families crying. And over 40 people were injured with gunshots and gun wounds. And the federal government and all the governments were lying. The leaders went to bury their heads. Where are all the political party leaders? They all went to bury their heads while the children, their own children were dying. Is that what happened?
CNN said people were killed. Lai Mohammed dragged CNN all over the place. Amnesty International said people were killed. Femi Adesina said Amnesty International cannot dictate to Nigeria how to run the country. So these are the contradictory positions. The government
are these shameless people, are they coming out to say they're sorry to the sensibility of Nigerians they lied to? Because this was a government panel. I mean, this panel was set up by government. We need to give kudos to those who were in that panel who could not be bought. Are these people, starting from Lai Mohammed, we understand that Buhari doesn't dabble into the affairs of Nigeria. He dabbles into international, so we can excuse him. But all the people that lied, Femi Adesina, Lai Mohammed, Governor Sanwo-Olu, are they coming to kneel down and apologize? But first of all, CNN is not taking this thing lightly. CNN has reacted with a report. Let's have a look at that report. Studio, give us that report that CNN has come to say, yes, this is our position and we're not changing it. They just reacted. Mark.
That's correct. While we're looking at what CNN said, I'm laughing at what you said, Dr. Shagu. You said we're excluding the President Buhari from this because he doesn't attend to Nigeria situation.
That's my humble opinion. No, if it is If it is Paris, he will be there. He was at the African Summit in Paris. If it is Glasgow, he will be there. If it is the investment committee in South Africa, he was. I'm talking of what he has been in the last 2 weeks. He's been in 4 countries, junketing, we are polluting the air with our air force and aeroplanes. But let's leave him. He's an international president. So we'll give him
United Nation, Amnesty International, and all the international organizations have they demand full implementation of the Lagos panel recommendation on NSAS reports, indicting the Nigerian army, the police for killing peaceful protesters, Lekki Tollgate on October 20th, 2020. So they say that report should be implemented. So that's what the international bodies are saying.
We have a CNN response, which they just released. We have a CNN response in the studio that they just released, and they said they are staying with their, of course, they've always said they were right. There was a massacre. I recall that Arise reported the matter and used the word massacre, and the government went on Arise. They nearly took their license, and Ambassador Nat, what amazed me most was how they packed the dead bodies, packed the bullets, and they pretended as if nothing happened. These are monstrous, disastrous people. How did they pack? Now the report says they packed the body to a mortuary in Yaba, and they also mop up all the bullets on the ground. I mean, did they think of this? Did they know that was the plan they were going to do?
Well, I think it just an extension to what you have just said. You know, the police also did not only prevent others from attending to those who are wounded, they cleaned up. The women cleaned up, used water to clean up the Tollgate area where the massacre took place. And the issue of the Minister of Works coming to plant evidence at the Tollgate thing is also very, very scandalous. And I think,
Raji Fashola?
Yeah, he should be held accountable too.
Yeah, I mean, many of them should be held accountable, and this is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. What they have done is unbelievable. The United Kingdom, the British government has reacted, and that they should, the federal government and the Lagos state government and all the governments involved should work on that report and do something, because we want to see whether the white panel will the white report, the white paper on it will be watered down. We will be looking, and then the United States has released a particular report saying that the United States is interested, the government of the United States is interested in how they deal with this matter. I'm just trying to see if I can get what the United States said. It says the United States welcomed the conclusion of the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry with the transmission of its final report. We look forward to the Lagos State government response as part of its process that represents an important mechanism of accountability regarding the NSAS protest and the events that took place near the Lekki Tollgate on October 20, 2020. Now, these governments, I understand the United Nations too has responded towards it, and so we are seeing all these responses. CNN is not taking its line low because they call them liars, they call them fake stories, they call them all sorts of names. So the CNN has gone to release a new set of videos and trying to show and prove. Now there is a young lady who is called DJ. DJ was her name now? This
Swift.
Young lady. Sorry?
DJ Swift.
DJ Swift. Yes. Now, what this young lady stood on the truth, Mark, what shall we do to bless this woman?
It's really wonderful to know that she's being vindicated. Yes, she's been vindicated. DJ Switch was one of the organizers of the NSAS protests. She was very involved. She's a DJ, a young lady that is into entertainment. But when it was at the NSAS time, she got very involved, and she was using her skill to also keep the protests entertaining. You know, they were playing music, they were having that, that very lively atmosphere while the protest was going on. So, and DJ Switch has also been giving knowledge and insight into reasons why they should protest, reasons why the Nigerian youth should speak out. So, during the NSAS, she was actively involved, and when that mayhem happened, she had to also run for her life. We presently don't know where DJ Switch is now, but
she's in the last time I checked, she was in Canada. She was given asylum there.
Yes, that's what the report says. But for safety reasons, she could be juggling between different because she's like public enemy, government and Nigerian government enemy #1 now.
And the way Nigeria was, they can abduct her from any country. That's the way they work.
Exactly. The way they did to
Nnamdi Kanu, the way they put a Igboho down there in the Republic. So you oppose the Nigerian government, be ready to be abducted.
Simple. That's it. But interesting now with these reports, that means all she has been doing and saying is correct. You know, she said at that time that there were deaths. They killed, they did all this, they did all that, but the government denied it. And as at that time, a lot of us were looking at her as if probably she was falsifying reports. You know, we were saying, is she sure of what she saw? Is she sure of what she's saying? But now it's obvious. She's vindicated, and the truth is out. DJ Switch is now, in fact, we need to apologize to her because a lot of people doubted her that time. A lot of people hated her even. Some people hated her for saying what she was saying. So, but we need to ask for forgiveness and, in fact, compensate her also. Compensate her.
She should be compensated. Otherwise, nobody will want to say the truth in Nigeria anymore.
That's correct. So that's DJ Switch.
I want to attempt to read some names of dead people who the Nigerian army killed on that day. They were shot point blank. These people did not have a stone, talk less of a gun, no knife, and the names were published by this panel. I want to attempt to read just the dead ones, because they said nobody died, no parents came forward, no family is crying. They said it all over again and again and again, that one could almost believe their lie. But this panel has come out with their names, and they said the government concealed their bodies in a Yaba mortuary. I mean, this is a very serious case. Even by the Nigerian standard, it's a very serious case. But I'm intrigued by one name. First of all, according to the panel, they brought out the name of Victor Sunday Ibanga, then that of Abuja Solomon. Then they brought one which was just Joe. You see, this man Joe died. Nobody knows his surname. They just call him Joe. Those of us who live in the Western world, when they want to refer to somebody without a name, they say Joe Blog. Now, this Joe died. Nobody will know his surname. And the federal government was claiming that nobody came to claim his body. Nobody came to know him, when even his surname was not known. So the panelists just call his name Joe. That's very interesting. Now, some other names that we were given by the this panel: Olalekan Abdin Ashafa. These are the people who were killed. Olanilekun Ajasa, Kolade Salami, Folorunsho, Olabisi. These were the names that were given as killed by the Nigerian government. Kolade, Salami, yes, and then Uko, Ikechukwu, Uko. These ones were killed. Then the following ones were presumed they are missing, but presumed dead. Missing, according to the panel. Abiodun Adesanya, Ifeanyi Nicholas. Missing, there's one they just know as Tola. Tola has disappeared. Another one is called Wisdom, disappeared. And so many people with gunshot injury. In fact, at the panel, at the inquiry, we saw people coming with the wounds and showing where they were shot, where the bullets went in, where the bullets went up, and we are told they are blank bullets. Ambassador Nat, is this a country based on lies and falsification, with the government lying through their teeth, and the leaders were nowhere to be found when their children were being shot? In fact, they called the army to shoot. I mean, what kind of a country will you call this?
Earlier on, I had stated that this is an embarrassment, it's scandalous, it's shameful and disgraceful, and it shouldn't be. This type of things shouldn't have happened in any place, even near Nigeria, because of Nigeria as a country in the international community of nations. And you have a government who have been for the past 6 years or so governing by deceit, deceiving the people, lying to the people even when they know the truth, and pretending like ostrich, burying his head in the sand, and this is what we can talk of Nigeria today. And in addition to this panel's report, there are other incidences that have happened, and the government is saying those things did not happen. Because if the government is still talking in 2021, in November, a whole chief of army staff, and again, I think, defense staff, the Irabo shouldn't have been the one making such statements, if not because we have a rowdy government. It is the Minister of Defense. The Minister of Defense should be making such statements.
I agree with you.
Yes, and not Irabo. The only thing I used to have respect for Irabo is that I think he's the one of the best defense chiefs we have produced, because we've never had a chief of, but he has just disgraced himself yesterday and today. He has disgraced himself.
It's a total disgrace.
He has disgraced Nigerian.
Ambassador Nat,
Disgraced the uniform he's wearing. Yes.
okay. Could you please, on behalf of Schengen Medias, give a condolence message to those who have lost their loved ones, 10 of them, another 4 missing, because it's such a touchy one. Many people are sick, crying. Many people with gunshot wounds, their life may not be the same again. Bullet passing through the spleens, through the guts, through so many parts of their body, entering one part, coming out the other side, splitting lungs.
I want SSM. Yeah, this news media outlet want to, on behalf of the SSM, tender our deepest condolences to those who died in the Lekki fracas on October 2020. Officially, they are talking of 9 killed, 4 presumed dead, 33 shot and assaulted by the Nigerian military, the Nigerian police, and made those who are no more with us. We are praying that their gentle souls are resting in perfect peace. And we are praying that Nigeria will witness once again peace, because some people laid down their lives to ensure that justice was done and also to ensure the truth was told. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark, what will you say to the young people who are still alive and well? What advice will you give them? That time they came up with a slogan, Sorosuke. The government wanted to shut them down, shut and padlock their mouths like the slavery age. The guns were to put padlock into their mouths. What advice will you give those who took part in that protest? What should they do to ensure a good democracy in their nation?
Well, I would say that they've made a very strong impact. In the history of Nigeria, we've never had any of such occurrence. I mean, at least in the recent years, these young men have stood up. They've come to say that there is a need for change in the country. There's a need for people's life to get better. And the Sorosoke movement, it has just begun. You know, we're seeing a new era of awareness among the youth, a new era of the youth mobilizing themselves and adding a voice to what is going on. So we will also say, like Ambassador Nat said, we want to send our condolences to this family that have been bereaved, and we know that something surely will be done. They have to be compensated. Those that were harmed, those that have one or two injury should be compensated, and they should not back down in putting out their voices. I mean, if things are not going well, the best we can do is to shout out loud. So the Sorosoke movement has just begun, and the youths are going to continue to raise their voice when they see abnormalities in the society.
Thank you very much. May I just add my voice to my colleagues across Europe as we meet right now to say it's very sad. Today is a sad day as we look at this report and analyze it. It brings bad memories. But out of the darkness and the ashes, good things can rise up. They say that without darkness, the stars can never shine. So it's now time. This is my suggestion to those young people. Let them now take this report and discuss it in every state, in every local government. Let them take this and start analyzing this report to see what went wrong, what can be corrected, what kind of nation they want, and come back to the nation. All those age group, the generation that took part in it, let them now take this report and analyze it among themselves and come back with a good, the kind of government they want to see, the kind of governance they want to see, and let it be coordinated. Let us have a coordination of the activities of the young people, starting from discussion. It's not yet time to protest. This is the time to digest and discuss, and then come up with plans how the local governments could be governed, the state governments could be governed, and how the nation could be governed. This thing will have helped with Brother Joe, who died, and nobody will know his surname. The soul of Brother Joe will live in peace, and we will continue to get Nigeria properly governed. We will leave it at this. Thank you for those who are responding and all the condolences that are coming in all over the world. We are taking cognizance of you. Please leave your message on our site, and we will definitely pass it on to the rest of the world. We thank you very much for all the things you are writing. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, it's another time to take a report. This time there is a report on the deadly collapse of the 21-story building in Ikoyi, 44 Gerard Road, and we understand that the Institute of Engineers, they brought out a report, interim report they call it, but let's look at it together. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We want to look at the interim report of a branch of the Nigerian Institute of Engineers. It's a division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. They're known as the structural engineers. They look for the strength of the material, they analyze it, and they bring out what ought to have been. And so they have been invited to look at the collapsed building. In fact, they have also been asked to look at the integrity of the two other buildings that are near the collapsed building. You know what I'm talking about. A few weeks ago, there was this collapse of a 21-story building being built by Foscor. And these engineers who were formally invited and who have done some reports, they have brought a report, an interim report, they call it. And we want to look at these reports and see to what extent we done wrongly as human beings. But let me read it so that we can get the gist of it all. It says this group of engineers, the division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, being organized by various professional and regulatory bodies. It is a view that the outcome of a preliminary investigation will give a general indication of what likely led to the unfortunate incidents. And so this is the summary of the findings of the preliminary investigation. The following are the major preliminary findings. One, there are clear indications of several design brief changes on the project, and the engineering and management of these changes appear to have been seriously inadequate. The building that collapsed was initially designed for just 6 floors and later to 12 floors before this was further changed to 15 floors. It could not yet be established the adequacy of any properly designed and documented further revision to the eventual and tragically final 21 floors that was being implemented and which collapsed. There are also indications that more than 2 structural engineering design firms worked on the project at different times. So the Nigerian Institution of Structural Engineers, the preliminary investigations also revealed some evidence of structural inadequacy in the construction, and that signs of some structural distress had already started to show within certain elements of the building. Some remedial measures were already being undertaken to address some of these. The method of implementation of this was not in accordance with sound structural engineering practices. Lack of proper quality control and quality assurance measures and processes during the construction was evident, becoming noticeable as seen in the poor quality of concrete materials and workmanship observed during the examination of the collapsed debris. All the above findings, which are very significant from the structural engineering point of view, need to be investigated further during the detailed investigation stage. So says the Nigerian Society of Engineers. This one was done by the National Institution of Structural Engineers. So what they have told us in essence is that the original approval was for 6 floors, not even 8. Then it was changed to 12. Then it was changed to 15, and it was changed to 21. That is what they found in the books. And then they said the quality control was bad. Nobody was there to say this is the exact amount of concrete. They call it strength of material, and they are normally worked out and in their engineering fashion. And also, I'm not sure whether they were building on the foundation of 6-story floor, and then they now just put 21 stories on 21. And besides, the most important thing is that they said 2 firms, 2 design firms, engineering firms, have been involved. That is, one resigned, and the one that resigned wrote the whole world, showed us the paper that I resigned from this one. The second one continued working with it, and according to this engineer's report, they said that the stress has been seen, that this building was falling apart. So they made some remedial things to hold on together. But this remedial, they said, was not fit for purpose. Ambassador Nat, from what we have read in this interim report, what are your immediate thoughts?
My immediate thought is before any building is started at all, the architects, I don't know the architectural design. Was it for 6, 8, 12, 21 story building? Because we've not had anything from the architect. But I'm sure this.
According to this report, they said it was for 6. They went to dig it. They said for 6.
Okay, so we want to assume that the architect designed a 6-story building,
Yes.
but the property developer decided to take it up to 21, and this saying that if the foundation is faulty, if it is bad, nothing can stand on a faulty foundation to start with. So we want to look forward to, even as we have just finished talking about the NSAS. The governor of the same state, Lagos State, appointed how many member panel of professionals, architects, town planners, quantity surveyors, and all those people to investigate and give a report within 1 month as to why such a building should collapse. We only hope that report too were eventually submitted, because you can always guess what the report is going to say. Structural deficiency, the strength of material and quality of material was very inferior. They didn't meet acceptable international standards.
Yeah.
And so this is what we are waiting for, and we want to believe that the report, that panel too, will have the courage to say exactly what they have investigated, what they have seen, and what transpired. So that is what we have to say for now.
Let me ask our colleague in Milan, Mark, how do you copy this interim report? It has not covered anybody up. The report is straightforward, isn't it?
Straightforward, Dr. Shogun. Let me also say that most times in Africa, in Nigeria, things come up when the deed, the bad negative deed has happened. Why
That's
is
correct.
reports coming now? I mean, why weren't there more such while this building was going on? But the deed has been done. So what good does report do now?
But I can tell you for free that the Lagos State government closed this building site down. And we saw the video that they brought policemen, the developer had his own mobile police, the Lagos State government brought his own mobile police, and there was a scuffle. And so they did their best. They shut the place down. But like we were told, somebody from above asked them to reopen the place, and they continue building. So we've been told, and we saw the video.
Yes, I saw. We saw
somebody
the video.
has a question to answer somewhere.
Yes, so somebody has a question to answer. So that's the other problem too. This man, no man. My brother is the president of the country. My brother is the vice president. All these things don't help efficiency and good results. So we find ourselves in a world of nepotism in all we do. You know, man, no man, like Fela will say. So my brother I'm connected to this person. Do you know who I am? My uncle is the GOC. My daddy is the son of senior advocate and all that. Now, lives have gone. That property is down.
45 lives. The last
yeah, Dr. Shegun, I hope that those two other buildings will not be continued. Those two other buildings should be brought down. In the normal sense, those two buildings are also not.
Well, what we are told is that they want to test the integrity of those two buildings. I understand why you are saying so, because they said once a building has been collapsed next to you like that, the integrity of those ones will be suspect. So the engineer said that there's an instruction to test the integrity, but I can assure you nobody is talking about it anymore. That instruction to test the integrity.
Yes, Dr. Shagu, you know, our Nigeria is funny. They could continue with that building and continue with that business, but that place is faulty. Like Ambassador Nat said, the foundation is faulty. Everything there is now. There's blood also on the ground. There's blood in the foundation. So those buildings should be brought down, no matter how much it has cost them to erect it. Those two buildings should be brought down. That's how it's done as what they call world best practice when it comes to construction. It happened. You remember we had similar situation in America where the skyscraper came down in Florida. So what they did was bring down everything around there. You don't say this one fell, this one is okay. Who knows how it is? What will happen? So,
thank you very much. Ambassador Nan, why will people like Dele Momodu come out to say that nobody should talk about structural integrity? It was something else, that he knew that the man had the ground floor for his own personal house. How will he want to build a bad house upon his life? And he had quickly come to support the owner of this property, and that no, they should do a thorough investigation. Nobody's against that, but that nobody should talk about is structural integrity. I mean, how did people quickly jump into conclusion like that?
But everybody knows Dele Momodu is not a structural engineer. He's not even any of the fields in engineering.
No. I can tell you for free. He read Yoruba at the University of Ife. So if anything, he has a Yoruba structural integrity.
And we know him for communication in Ovation and other articles he writes. And so he's a stark illiterate when it comes to building 21-story buildings, or the strength of materials used. I think what Dele Momodu is just trying to do is to defend the undefensible, trying to not to speak bad of the dead by cultural inclination. And so I think Dele Momodu should just shut up.
He jumped the gun, didn't he? And then he was saying things that he did not know or will never know, because a degree in Yoruba will not give you the ability to discuss that one. And it is interesting. And this kind of thing,
I think Dele Momodu is he's somehow related to the man.
They are friends. They are friends.
Yeah, because there's a video of the wife and Oshiboni on the top of a building with some Italian engineers, and the guy was saying, "This is my sister," you know. So maybe there's also more deeper relationship. Maybe somehow, you know, we are all interconnected. You know, you could be cousins and all that. So I guess so. So obviously he would defend and also sympathize.
But Mark, before you go, this kind of situation in Nigeria is always resurfacing. Something will happen. Instead of us to know the truth, some people will have taken one side, the other taking another side. Look at the NSAS. At that time, anybody that said anything negative about the shooting at the Lekki Tollgate must be an evil man. He's a hater of Buhari. He's an evil person. And the other side is they are the good ones. As soon as this thing happened, it divided the nation again. Anybody that spoke against the structural integrity of that building must be an evil man. He doesn't want the development of Lagos State. And then some other people say, no, we should look at why can't we just have one truth and all of us follow the truth? Somebody has been
that's how we are. That's how we are.
It's been asked, why did you steal this money? Many people will say, leave him alone. Don't ask him why he stole the money. Why do evil things just divide Nigerians? You have an inkling.
Dr. Shagu, this is a subject I want us to also talk more on. This is a very good one you're bringing up. Ambassador Nat will also agree to that. We are too sentimental when it comes to being very precise in our judgment. We take sides easily without weighing the con and the pros, you know. So and sometimes they even add it by saying you're being jealous. You don't like the man.
You are the whaler. You are part of the whalers and the haters.
Yes, you hate the man.
I mean, somebody has been accused of stealing government money. Instead of us to wait and hear the judgment, they say, no, leave him alone. It's because he's from this tribe. It's because he's from that religion.
The pension officer, Mena supporters, if you see his supporters and what they're saying, that Mena is just being witch hunt, he's just being accused falsely. You won't believe what his people are saying. I mean,
that man told Nigeria blind. Many people died because they could not get their pension. And yet some people are still on his side saying that. I don't understand Nigeria.
And his village people are saying he will come out to be their governor.
I think there's a problem. We need to look at our education at the primary level. What do we teach? The ethics we teach. How do we teach these things that people will have the correct understanding within the society, within the nation, within the government? I doubt whether we know the difference.
Sorry to come in. You know where the problem is, because we are too attached. Now we are not very, like we said, precise in judging. You know, somebody will say he's my brother, so I will just support him. And then another person will say he's my enemy, so I'll just hate him. And we don't look into those things. We don't say, okay, come to a very good conclusion, you know. So it's a problem. The collapsed building now, a lot of people are taking side and seeing other people as haters or jealous or don't want progress. You don't understand. You don't know, and so many things. And it's not so. I mean, that building collapsed like a pack of sand. Did you see how it went down?
Yeah, everything.
As if it's
and
not
that was when they had put something to support it, according to these structural engineers. They said they had seen it, they had put something to support it, and yet it still collapsed. I mean, Well, we just have to go on a short break. When we return, we want to discuss politics. The governors are fighting the members of the National Assembly. Why? Now, you don't go away. We'll be right back.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle, inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment, a better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story magazine. Get Schengen Story magazine full editions.
Thanks for staying with us. It's still News Echoes, piloted, engineered by Schengen Media. Now, listen to this carefully. Most of the senators and members of House of Representatives in Nigeria, if not state legislators, were handpicked by their governors, supported, and they finally won and occupying their seats. In the recent past weeks, there have been problems between their governors and these members of the National Assembly. Why? Because something is brewing. They have included in the electoral bill that election at the party level should be direct and not indirect. With indirect choosing of people, the governors have a say because they could just house people and give them money and determine who is going to be the next senator or not. Now, let me ask Ambassador Nat to tell us exactly what is going on between the governors and NAST representatives.
Thank you very much. These issues, indirect or direct, these issues have been with us since 1914. We are talking of the amalgamation of the Northern and Southern Protectorate. The British government encouraged indirect rule in the North, while direct rule was happening in the South. It became more pronounced that from 1999, military handing over power to the civilians and to the political class. And this issue of indirect primaries or direct primaries has been used in the past by the parties concerned. But the worry now is, why is the National Assembly, especially the Senate, so concerned about what is supposed to be a political party affair? They want to put it in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. These are not constitutional matters. These are political matters which should be left to the politicians or the political class. And what the National Assembly is now saying is that all political parties, the big ones and the small ones, to use the direct primary process to elect interested party members who want to vie for positions either at the national level, state level, or local government level. And the direct primaries or indirect primary has its own merits and demerits. Let us start with the direct primary, which the National Assembly is recommending. It means that all political parties should have an authentic register of members, not even putting in dead members on the register. So each party will have its party members register. Each member of the party should register. Each member should have an identification card. But we have seen in the past that you cannot even rely on identification cards. The name on the card could be a different person from the face that is appearing to participate in the elections. The direct primaries is going to cost INEC more money, and they are already asking for more billions to conduct the 2023 elections. And again, the Nigerian politicians will know, no matter what type of direct or indirect primaries you give them, they'll still have their way of maneuvering or manipulating the list of registered voters. And so we have seen in the past, the direct primaries have been very cumbersome. The direct primaries can be manipulated, and you are not sure yet of what you are going to have at the end of the day. The indirect primaries will be delegate system. The governor or the party chieftains in the state will determine who votes, who stand to elect people who want to vie in for one post or the other. And I think really, if you want to be seen to be democratic in handling the affairs of the parties, the direct primaries could be the thing, but again, that should be left to the political parties. That should be left to the politicians, and not National Assembly members who have vested interest. Further research has shown that individual members of the National Assembly or Senate are already fighting their governors against 2023, and they know that their governors will have their way, because the governor of Benue said, that governor says, no matter what you bring, the governors are in charge. The governors are in charge, yes, in their states.
They are demagogues.
Yes, so whether you bring direct primaries, indirect consensus, they have no problem with that. We're waiting for the 2023 primaries and the elections.
Now, let's put it in context. Ambode wanted to go for the second term, and the APC gurus, leaders in Lagos State said he will not. And they said, let's test your popularity. So they put it in direct election. All party members come and vote who you think should represent APC at the Lagos State gubernatorial election. What we saw in the areas where Ambode had a load of people, and I'm talking of Ekpe, where he was supposed to have come from, many of his supporters came to vote directly for Ambode to represent APC. But what we saw was that the people against Ambode, supported by the leaders of APC, they chased the Ambode supporters away in a supposedly direct primaries, so that there was a commotion. If you look like somebody who will vote for Ambode, they will beat the devil out of you. So they ran away. So direct primaries will have challenge, won't it?
Yes, because even in Lagos already, Lagos is the only state where they had not only parallel, but three
Yes, three parallels. Three
Yes,
parallel.
yeah. Lagos
Three.
for Lagos, then one
No,
for
no, no, no.
Akure.
Our viewers may not know the meaning of three. What do you mean three parallels? And we just call three, but they may not know. What do we mean by three? Come on, tell us.
Well, because three really wouldn't go with parallel. We are used to two going with parallels. So it's a new invention in Lagos. They are saying, or it happened on the day of the primaries. Primaries were held in three different locations, and
Exactly.
and
Our viewers
officials,
need to know that. Yeah.
yeah, and the three locations produced three party
Executive officer of
officials
APC.
of APC, uh, All People's Congress. So that is
That's where we come with three.
three. That's where we come with three. The
Now,
other
in many,
two APC states, almost 28 APC states produced parallels. And if you
so
look
they
at
have
those
two
parallels,
executives. Yes,
if you
two
look at those
executives,
parallels,
complete executives. Yeah.
if you look at those parallels, the one of them will be somebody from the National Assembly, and one will be from the current governor of the states. So that
Okay,
is
okay. Give us. Let's take the scenario to the national level. So the APC wants to have their annual meeting. So who are those going to be at the annual meeting? Because Lagos State has three of them parallels. You said they shouldn't be called parallels, and all the other 28 states come with their two different executive. So how will they come? Who is going to be a delegate of which parallel? I mean, what's the scenario? How is it going to look like?
APC is saying that the parallel they will accept is those parallels who had uh, their party officials from Abuja and supervised, or saw what was going on
But that will
in
be
the election.
supervised by INEC.
Yeah, that's what I mean. INEC
Mm.
and party officials from the headquarters.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
but again,
so
the other challenge APC still had with their updating voter registration, that one is already causing ripples as to who registered, which camp do they belong to.
okay. How did the PDP manage to settle their own? I know Secondus had gone to court and it says it's taken it to the Supreme Court. Somehow said the PDP managed to settle their own problems. How did they settle it? Now they have one known chairman, Yocha Ayu. How did they? What did they do?
Before the primaries, the dates provided by INEC, the People's Democratic Party had within the party agreed on consensus candidates. And when consensus didn't work, you now have to go and do elections. And I think more than 70-80% of their candidates got it through consensus. The other ones went for election, like the deputy chairman of PDP South was zoned to Southwest, and two candidates, Arakpaja and Oyinlola,
Yeah.
contested, and Oyinlola was beaten mercilessly. So
Somebody said that was the end. He said that election was the end of military era in the Nigerian politics. All along, Onilola, Obasanjo, all of them, Buhari, all of the ex-military, they have infiltrated politics, sustaining. But when Onilola, who had been two-time governor, and he was deposed in one of the ones that he rigged it, now this time he wanted to make a mark. He was beaten flat by Arakwaja. They said that is the end of the military era in politics as we know it. What will you say?
well, not quite end. We just want to say the military influence in Nigerian politics has been drastically reduced. because it's not only Oyinlola again. David Mark wanted the BOT chairman of chairmanship of PDP, but I think the party organ said no. He has had enough.
David Mark was the 2-term or 3-term Senate lead president in Nigeria. Yeah. He was a general. He was Minister of Communication at the time. He was he's made a mark, and yet he couldn't make a
two-time governor of Niger State.
Wow.
Yes.
So the ex-military is waning in the Nigerian politics.
Yes.
Well, we have Abdul Salam, who is the chairman of the Peace Committee, emergency president of Nigeria at the time.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be a political platform, because those members of the Peace Committee, apart from one or two, they are responsible for some of the challenges we have in the polity. Abdul Salami and Babangida seems to not even seem. They have not allowed the free will of the people to exercise their franchise when it's time for elections. They dictate.
How? They're not holding anybody. It's because
they are holding everybody in Niger State. The current governor of Niger State, the son of Sani Bello, a retired colonel, governor of Kano State, the daughter to Absalami, the wife of the governor of state, is a daughter to Absalami.
Okay, I'm getting the picture now.
Yes.
Okay.
And even if you go back,
Niger State. Talking about Niger State, we were told in the last 48 hours
that either Babangida is sponsoring somebody, or it's become another Tinubu of Lagos in
No, we're losing you now.
And in Niger State. Okay. Are you hearing me?
Good. Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
Okay, and when you come to Niger State and some other states too, it is what the retired generals decide that will happen. And even the same night,
I want to wait, Ambassador Nat. I want to hear your opinion. In the last 48 hours, we were told that 5 local governments are under Boko Haram in Niger State. You must know something about that.
Yeah, so Niger State happens to be in the north central geopolitical zones, but politically they are part of the northwest, because Niger State share boundaries with Sokoto State, Zamfara State, Katsina State, and Kaduna State, and Kebbi. Yeah, and Kebbi. In fact, Kebbi, part of Niger was cut off to join Kebbi because
so of. So how come Niger State is losing 5 local governments to Boko Haram?
Yeah, because they all share. That's where I was coming from. Niger State share boundary with 5, 4, 6 states, and so immediately these bandits, when they are chased out of those Zamfara, Sokoto, Kaduna, they just cross the border, the boundary into Niger State. It doesn't take 1 minute because they are borderline villages and towns, and easily
you wouldn't even know you are crossing any border.
You wouldn't know. No, you wouldn't know. And they speak the same language, they have same culture, and everything, the same thing. If they are chased out of Niger, they return to Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, and Kaduna State. And
we're coming to the 9 minutes of today's program. Tell us, Gumi told us that the bandits are now ready to drop their guns. Everybody go and bring your food. We have to rejoice and celebrate. What's going on there?
But Abubakar Sheikh Gumi, the cleric, the Islamic cleric in Kaduna State, I understand he has already established one or two schools in the forest for the bandits. And this is the man who has been campaigning that the bandits are not terrorists. Bandits should be given amnesty, like the one we did for Niger Delta militants. If you meet their demands, give them what they are looking for, amenities, some compensation, and let them be part of government as what's going on in government, as that was the case one time in Borno State, where you had 3 commissioners who are members of Boko Haram. So that this is what Gumi is saying should happen or should be done.
So, and then they would drop the guns.
And then they will drop the guns.
There'll be no more kidnappings and abductions.
Well, that's what Gumi, according to Gumi.
How about the other people, the abductees? Have they released all now, or we still have some people under their captivity?
You have almost 300 students still under captivity of
my God,
of these bandits in the three geopolitical zones of the northwest.
And the government can sleep. The government officials can sleep. The governors can sleep. With 300 people being in captivity inside their own country, and they have not been liberated inside their own country.
Yes, because we in the past we have strongly said that it seems there are some government officials who know exactly what is going on, especially if individuals like Gumi will go to the bandits in the forest with security people. The government giving him security, that is the long and short of it. And he knows where they are, he knows their names. And
Ambassador Nat, unfortunately, we lost a brigadier general in Borno.
Yes.
What's his name?
His name is. Let me be sure of his name.
Yeah, from Borno, and with some other soldiers, they ambushed them.
With some other 3 high-ranking soldiers. The name of the brigadier general is General Duzaram Zekurkushi.
In what circumstance?
The general and the other soldiers were ambushed by ISWAP fighters.
Okay, tell us quickly in 30 seconds. What is the role that ISWAP is now playing in Borno? Listen, for those who don't know the meaning of ISWAP, it means Islamic State of West African
Project.
Thank you. So, what are they doing there
now? When ISWAP got a footing in the northeast, especially in Borno State, and when Sakarau was killed, or he killed himself, ISWAP took over the remnants of Boko Haram. It's like absorbing them into their operations and becoming bolder and stronger and doing.
Have they set up a government there now?
They have set up a government, especially in the 10 local governments in northern Borno. They have appointed government officials, special district heads, and this district head collect on behalf of ISWAP. They collect what we call zakat. Zakat is an Islamic injunction that the rich people should collect money and distribute it to the poor.
In essence, that's taxation, isn't it?
Yeah, in the past, it will be the governor of the state that does that. But Boko Haram ISWAP have taken up that responsibility to collect zakat from the people and other taxes and distribute to
So will it be right? Will it be right to say that the Nigerian government under the Buhari administration has successfully carved out a place for Islamic West African state project, and there is nothing we can do about it? They've done it, and government is comfortable with it.
Yeah, officially the government is denying, but what's on ground is what exactly I've just said.
Thank you very much. We'll leave it at that. It's my duty to thank my colleague in Milan. Mark, what will you want to say as your last take for today? We just have to close.
I want to thank Ambassador Nat for good insights, political insight into situations. I was enjoying and assimilating all that also. Thank you. Thank you also for the program, Dr. Shah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's how far we go today. Mark has decided to be the Thanksgiving man. We receive thanks from him. I want to thank Ambassador Nat for his insights and thank the crew at Milan, and more especially those of you who have been watching and those who have made their thoughts known, reaching to us. We will definitely be gathering information for you and analyze them next week, Wednesday. That is our job, just for you to have an informed opinion. My name is Shegun Johnson, and until next Wednesday, God bless you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.